everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kaitlin and today I'm going to be taking you through my April plan with me. Here's a little list of the spreads that I'll be going over today. There are quite a few, but I am really excited to show you guys the usual class spreads I would be setting up, save for the self-quarantine check-in, which is a little bit more of a unique spread that I wanted to focus on this month. Right now I'm just showing you what a completed version of my cover page looks like. I'm a bit of a lazy bullet journaler when it comes to adding a lot of detail to my spread. I like to keep things really simple, so sometimes when I want something more detailed, what I do is I will work on it over a longer period of time. So I'm doing little bits at a time and it doesn't feel like very much work. So that's what I do with this cover page. All I write is the first 3 letters of the month, and then I'll doodle in some flowers as the month progresses. Make sure to check out my Instagram if you want to see what that looks like by the end, because I generally post photos if I remember, but I will remember this time, so it should work out. Now I'm working on my calendar spread. I like to have my calendar spread separate to my tasks and my notes for the month, because I like to have just my appointments and dates in one place so I can really focus on them. I really love using the vertical calendar by writer Carol. I've stuck with this since I've started bullet journaling and I don't foresee myself ever changing. So yeah, I do really enjoy this type of calendar. And on the other side, because the vertical calendar only takes up 1 page, I like to use the other page to write down the name of the month and also draw my monthly floral theme, I guess. That's what it's called. I really enjoy having a theme that is consistent over the year. So this year I'm drawing all botanicals because I want to get better at drawing botanicals. So I figured creating monthly themes in my bullet journal that forced me to practice would be a really good way to improve. This month I decided to draw the snowdrop plant. In Canada it is still kind of winter, but one of these bloomed in my garden a couple days ago and I drew it to commemorate. And I really loved how the drawing looked, and I figured since spring is hopefully coming in April, the snowdrops will be out more and that this will be, I guess, a relevant plant to this month. I'm also pretty new at drawing florals, so when I say this is an easy plant to draw, I promise it is. Literally, it's like drawing a light bulb, but you're not drawing an actual light bulb because it's a plant. I drew everything on this plant with a 0.5 tip fine liner, and then I went in for the shading on the leaves and the little dots with a 0.3 fine liner. So even the outline of the flower here, I'm going back with a 0.5 fine liner because I just thought it looked a little better. Oh, now this is the place where my camera cut off and my tasks and notes page was not recorded. But this does look the same every month, I promise. So if you want to see the lettering part of it, I would recommend checking out one of my previous plan with me's. This spread tends to stay the same every month, so you can definitely see the process in another video and you're not going to be missing out on much. But yeah, technology, man, sometimes it happens. What I'm adding to my task list is just the 4 numbers of the weeks in April. And I like to use the owl stare method in that section to record my tasks. I just find it's a little easier, and I find if I assign my task to a specific week, I'm not just leaving it there and not giving it a date and then it never happens. Next is my habit tracker spread. This spread is one of my probably favorites. I got the original idea from Shada Campbell, so I'll link the original video where she shows this spread in the description below. But pretty much I lettered the title habits. I used the Tombow soft tip food nasuge for all of my lettering, except for one spread, which I'll mention that so you guys know. But I just really like how with the soft tip you get a bit more of a difference between the downstroke and the upstroke. However, the soft tip does have a little less stiffness compared to the hard tip, so if you're new to lettering, the hard tip might be a better choice for you. I draw all of these little dots on my habit tracker because I like to highlight the dot when I've completed a task that day. It does kind of take a lot of work, but the upside of it is that it forces me to really think about what tasks are worth drawing 31 dots for. And I always reserve the bottom part of this spread for drawing the flower of the month. Usually I'll just do one single branch across the spread, but this month I thought it would be fun to kind of do a field of snow. Oh, what are they called? My mind is blanking. Snowdrops, yes, got it. But do like a little field of snowdrops across the page. And I actually really love how this spread turned out. I think it's probably one of my favorites with the quarantine spread, I think. I drew a bunch of snowdrops. I sketched these out in advance just to make sure that it was relatively balanced. So I tried to kind of play with 3 different heights of the flowers, a low, a medium, and a high, and I mixed them all together. I found a really good way for this to look good is to kind of have 2 going in one direction and then the third one going in the opposite direction. And I found that looks really, really nice. The hardest or the most important part of drawing these plants is getting the angle of the stem to look nice in a cluster. But I think if you stick to the 2 in one direction at different heights and then 3rd in the other direction, you're pretty much set up for success. And now I'm just going in and adding the black to the little, I don't know what that's called, but like the little part that attaches to the plant or the flower. And then I'm adding a little bit of dots just to add a little bit more contrast so it doesn't look exactly like a light bulb, because it's not really like light bulb season, at least not for me. And now is probably the most intricate spread and the most new spread for me. This one is a check-in. I'm now working from home because my university classes have been put all online. So I wanted to do a little check-in spread just to see where I'm feeling mentally and about work, and just if I wanted to write anything down about how I want to kind of process those emotions and do anything for myself during this time. So on the left side of the page, I'm doing a quote page. I've not done a quote page in a very long time, so I did kind of block it out in advance because I wanted to make sure that the spacing was all good. I spaced out my quote, and I'm using the hard tip Tombow Funisuke for this quote because the letters are smaller. It's just a bit easier to use a more stiff tip brush pen because you don't have to write as big, so you don't want your lines to be super thick. And I don't know if you've guessed it yet, but the quote I'm writing is from Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. And it is from Gandalf the Grey, and it says, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." And I thought that was really a good choice of quote for this spread, because I think a lot of us feel like we have all this time given to us, or maybe a lack of time given to us. And with all the uncertainty and not knowing what's going to come up as time passes, it's important to acknowledge your feelings and make sure that you're checking in with yourself so that you can make sure that you're, doing as okay or maybe not okay as possible, but at least acknowledging and validating those feelings. Beside the quote, I drew another snow drop. I don't know why I want to keep saying like snowflower, but maybe that's another name for it, who knows. And then I just wrote the name of the person who said the quote, which to my knowledge is Gandalf the Grey, but it could be someone else. I should really check that. Now, on the right side of the page, this is where I misspelled the word quarantine. I was so sure that it was spelled like this that I didn't look it up. I really should have. So if you're recreating the spread, quarantine is A-R-A, not A-R-E. So make sure if you're doing it, don't make the same spelling mistakes that I did. I just wrote beside it the quarantine diaries, and I wrote work, mind, body, soul. And those are just some spaces where I can check in and see how I'm feeling. How's my body feeling? How's my mind feeling? How's my soul feeling? And then maybe even what are some things I want to do for my body? Is that creating a home workout plan? What do I need to do to make sure I'm successful in my work? Creating office hours, stuff like that. And now the final spread is my weekly spread. I always forget to make this on camera. I remembered this month, so I'm very happy about that. This is my usual weekly spread. It doesn't change too much. The only thing that does change every week is where I put the florals and botanicals. I find this is enough of a change to make me happy and make me feel motivated and excited to use my journal. Don't feel pressured to have to change up your spreads every week or month. If you're happy with the same thing every week, then that's all that really matters. As long as you're motivated to use your journal and you're sticking with it, that's really the point of this, not having a ton of different weekly spreads if that doesn't do anything for you. So yeah, that's my weekly spread. Very simple. I'll probably do an updated video going through my weekly spread and just the components of it, but I do have a video already. It's kind of similar, but I really should update it. And now we've come to the final flip through of the April Plan With Me setup. If you guys have stuck in this long, thank you so much for sticking in with me and watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you maybe found some inspiration or maybe even just some calmness in this very trying and uncertain time. I hope you all are safe and you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next one.